And welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is my preview of Fulham versus Brentford. These are my 5 keys to victory for Fulham against Brentford. I'll be sharing that in the next 15 to 20 minutes. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It does help other Fulham supporters find us. Before I get going, I do want to mention, please do check out all the previews of this match. Fulhamish has a really good preview of this match. Please check out the Green Poll. Dan Crawford, Alan Jewett, they have a wonderful preview, along with Dan interviewing in a separate episode, Billy from Besotted. Check out these previews of this match. This will get you ready for the match, hopefully, along with the preview I'm doing right now. So let's not waste any time. This is a huge West London derby at Craven Cottage, and I'm looking forward to it. A little nervous, but I'm confident going into this. I actually got a chance to watch Brentford and Fulham play in Philadelphia. It is a friendly, but it did give me a little gauge into what we might be seeing at Craven Cottage on Saturday. So let's start with number 5. And this is an obvious one for anyone that has watched Brentford and Fulham play lately. Last season, Fulham came out strong, and I thought that was vital. When I went to Philadelphia, Fulham came out strong, and very important, because the one thing that I've learned from watching Fulham play Brentford is that Brentford, like Fulham, play with no fear. They don't mind getting behind. They can fight back. This is a team that will basically be in it for 90-plus minutes, just like Fulham will. So Fulham need to start strong like they have in the past, but they need to keep this pressure going for 90-plus minutes. This match will go beyond the 90 minutes, I believe. It could be all the way to the end. Fulham could be winning at that point, but they need to see this through, because I have a lot of respect for Brentford, especially after seeing them in person. Did gain a little bit more respect for them, what they bring, what their manager brings. This is going to be a difficult match, but I think it's one that Fulham are prepared to play a good Brentford side. And I'm going to say a good Fulham side. Number 5 is obvious to me. They just need to start from the get-go. They can't start slow. They have to start strong, but they need to keep that pressure going. They absolutely do, because this team that they're playing against will do the same. And that's going to go to number 4. Number 4 is an interesting one. And I watched this in front of me. Watch out for the quick break from Brentford. That's number 4. And they do have lightning quick players. You have to be on your best at all times. You cannot relax, because this team can hit you on the counter extremely quick. And Fulham need to be ready for this. And I saw this in Philadelphia. I saw it last season. I've watched several of their matches. This is a team that is well-disciplined but can break very quickly. And Fulham need to be ready for it. If they're not, they will be punished. So Fulham need to be ready for the quick break from Brentford, and do not allow them to take advantage of a mistake. Fulham are going to make mistakes. All teams make mistakes, but they need to be ready for the quick break from Brentford. That's my number 4. Number 3, and this is an interesting one, because Kenny Tete is a player that I could 9 times out of 10 say I can count on Kenny Tete. He wasn't the greatest in the last match, especially in the first half, played better in the second half. So Kenny Tete needs to play well in this match. That's my number 3. I think it's vital, especially if you look at a player that he'll be dealing with at some point during the match, Rico Henry, who is a really good player. Kenny Tete needs to be at his best. In my opinion, he needs to be on it. I expect to see Kenny Tete play well in this match, but I think it's vital for Fulham to get all 3 points, because there are certain players that Fulham have when they do not play at their best. Fulham are more vulnerable. Believe it or not, Kenny Tete is one of them. I would say Pauline is a player like that. There are certain players that if they're not at their best or you're missing, you can tell the difference. Fulham are not the same team when Kenny Tete is not at his best. It doesn't happen that often. So they need Kenny Tete to be on it against Brentford. If not, then there could be an opening for Brentford to win this match. I have a lot of faith in Kenny Tete. That's why this is an important one. That's why He's my number 3 key to victory for Fulham against Brentford. Number 2, whenever Paulinho plays, he needs to take control of the match like we know he can. I think this is very important. In Marco's presser, I'm actually going to read a tweet out from Dom Smith. He tweeted out, Marco Silva, quote, João Paulinho is going to be involved in this game. He's going to be in the squad. Just Mitrovic is going to be out of the game, unquote. So I'll talk about Mitro in a few minutes, but to focus on João Paulinho, Fulham are obviously a much better team when he is in there. You see the difference when he doesn't play. Fulham finally got over the hump by winning a match without Paulinho last week against Everton. Can they do it again? I think they can do it again, but they're a much better side with him. I do expect him to play. I actually hope that maybe he starts this match. I would rather see him start, play 60, than come on, say, in the 60th minute for the final 30. I think you're going to see João Paulinho, but whenever he comes into this match, he needs to really just take control of the match like we know we can. Protect that back four, get the ball moving, and becoming the tackling machine that we know he is. So for me, he is going to be important whenever he is in this match. Coming back from an injury, I saw the injury in front of my face in Philadelphia. The fact that he is going to be involved in this match is huge news for Fulham Football Club. Will he play the 90 minutes? I have my doubts. I think based on what I'm seeing, he will be involved. Whether it's 30, whether it's 60, whether it's 90, I think for Fulham to win this match, João Paulinho needs to be a difference maker, and I would expect him to. And that's why that's my number 2. Coming up next, I'm going to share with you my number 1 key to victory for Fulham against Brentford, along with my starting 11, and I'll end with my prediction. Okay, so my number 1 key to victory for Fulham against Brentford is this. Number 1, no Mitro, no problem. Jimenez needs to make an impact. And we've seen glimpses of this already. I think Raul Jimenez has a lot to offer Fulham Football Club. And the more that he plays with the club, I think the more results you're going to see. He's going to be the starter, I believe, in this match. And I think he could be a vital player in this match, whether he scores a goal or not. Get him involved early and often. And I think you will see some very positive results. They don't necessarily need a goal from Raul Jimenez, but they need him active. They need him really causing problems to that Brentford defense. He's very important. Without Mitro, you need someone to step up. And I have faith that Raul Jimenez, who I believe has something to prove, will step up in this match. And we'll see what happens with Mitro. Marco Silva said in the presser that he is out with an ankle injury. So we'll see what happens. We all know the speculation. Potential move to Al Hilal. I don't know where that is at this point, but that's not what this episode is about. It's about the match. So no Mitro, no problem. It's a question mark. Jimenez needs to make an impact for Fulham to get all 3 points. I have faith in Raul Jimenez to do just that. I think he'll be very important in this match for Fulham against Brentford. I look forward to seeing him play. Okay. So now let's talk about starting 11. Now, what's interesting about this is what I am going to predict for a starting 11. I'm going to go with Leno, Tete. I will go with Diop. I'm going to say Bassi plays in this match. I want to see Bassi, but I would not be shocked if Tim Ream starts. On the left, you have Anthony Robinson. Here's where it gets interesting. I am going to go with Paulinho starting, along with Reed, and I'm going to say Pereira. I'm going with those 3. On the left, I'm going to go for a little bit of a shock here. I'm going to say Bobby Decordova-Reid on the left. On the right, Harry Wilson and Raul Jimenez up front. That's what I'm going with a starting 11. And I feel good about that for a starting 11. But what's interesting about this, I'm leaving out players that could make an impact sometime in the match. Sasa Lukic has played very well. He could easily start in place of Paulinho. Paulinho is going to play a role. I don't know if he's going to start, but I'm going with him to start in this match. Now, I think you also see Willian in this match. He could start as well, but just think about the players that I left out. A big one that I'm looking forward to seeing is Adama Traore. I think Adama Traore could scare any defense, and I look forward to seeing him in this match. I think he's going to play a role off the bench, and I think his partnership and knowing Raul Jimenez could pay huge dividends for Fulham Football Club. I want to see how this all plays out. I don't think that Adama Traore will start, but I think he's going to play a significant role for Fulham against Brentford. And I like Fulham's chances with Adama Traore playing along with Jimenez. I think that will enhance Fulham Football Club. I expect to see him play against Brentford. Okay. So before I give my prediction for this match, I just want to say one more time that in front of me, in a friendly, I watched Fulham beat Brentford, but I'm just going to tell you that I left Philadelphia thinking Brentford has a good side. Even without Ivan Toney, they have some dangerous players that Fulham need to be aware of. And Blamo is one that I'm very concerned about. Wisa's another good player. I already mentioned Rico Henry. Norgard is a dangerous player who can run the show. They have players that Fulham need to contend with. But if they absolutely can, which I believe that they can at Craven Cottage, I think Fulham can win this match. In fact, I'm feeling pretty good about this matchup. I generally don't predict 1-0, 2-1 victories. So I'm actually going to go with a prediction that I heard on the Green Poll with Dan Crawford and Alan Druitt. Alan predicted 3-1 to Fulham at Craven Cottage. I'm going with Alan Druitt here. I'm saying 3-1 to Fulham. Goal scorers being Raul Jimenez. I'm going to give a shock and say Adama Traore and Andres Pereira. Those are going to be my 3 goal scorers in this match. But I think Fulham have enough, even without Mitro, to win this match against Brentford. It will be hard. It'll probably be closer than what I'm predicting. But I don't like predicting 2-1, 1-0. I like to predict 3-1, 2-0. I like to give myself a little room there. So I'm saying 3-1 to Fulham. But this won't be easy because Brentford is a very good side with a very good manager. They need to be respected. I know how we all feel about Brentford, but I respect them very much so after watching them in front of me. But before that, I respected what they have done. What they have built at Brentford has been something that they deserve credit for. But Fulham do as well. And I know this is a derby, so everything will be just out there for everyone to see. It's going to be a difficult match for both sides. But I just like Fulham in this match at Craven Cottage, the opener for the season. I'm going with Fulham 3-1 against Brentford. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Cottage Talk. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. As I mentioned earlier, please do take a listen to the Green Poll podcast with Dan Crawford and Alan Druitt Jr. Please check that out. They had a nice preview. And then, of course, Dan Crawford did a very good interview with Billy from Besotted in a separate interview if you want to learn a little bit more about Brentford. So definitely check out those podcasts. Check out Fulhamish, Fulham Focus, all the podcasts. That's So Craven does a wonderful job. I want to give a shout out to them. Everyone does a great job covering Fulham Football Club. And I always say this. The reason why I continue to do this show, 1, because I love it. 2, has to be because the lack of coverage that Fulham get in the broadcast media in general. They just don't get a lot. We have to pick up the slack because they're not covering Fulham the way that they should be covering Fulham. I know they're not a top 6 team. I get that. But you need to be doing a better job covering all the teams in the Premier League, not just the top 6. And Fulham deserve to be covered better than they are. That's one of the reasons why Cottage Talk continues to grow and go. Okay, well, that's going to do it for this episode. My name's Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, part of the talkSPORT Fan Network.